Chapter 1676. Lu Ming sneered, "Cut the crap. If you have the ability, then come and take it. Arrogant. I want to see how far you've grown in 3 years." A first-stage half-saint from the Celestial Divine sect stepped forward. A spear of divine punishment appeared and pierced towards Lu Ming. Lu Ming's eyes were as cold as a blade. A saint weapon appeared in his hand. The sacred weapon battle sword slashed out. The sword gleam was earth-shattering. The other party's divine punishment spear shattered under Lu Ming's sword gleam. The sword gleam did not stop. That person was slashed into 2 halves and died instantly. "Kill," Lu Ming said coldly. He stepped forward and appeared in front of another first-stage half-saint from the Celestial Divine sect. He slashed out with his sword again. The man was frightened and frantically retreated. However, Lu Ming's sword light slashed through his body. His spiritual deity had been destroyed by Lu Ming. Then, Lu Ming stepped forward and appeared in front of another second-stage half-saint. "Die for me," the second-stage half-saint roared. The law circulated and holy light erupted. He launched a terrifying attack towards Lu Ming. However, Lu Ming's sword slashed through everything. The opponent's attack collapsed instantly. The man followed in the footsteps of the previous 2 and was killed by Lu Ming in a single slash. The others gasped and retreated in shock. 1 slash, 1 kill. 1 slash, 1 kill. 1 slash, 1 kill. Whether it was a first-stage half-saint or a second-stage half-saint, they couldn't resist Lu Ming. They were killed one by Lu Ming. At this time, the battle here had alarmed many people in the distance. Many people rushed over after hearing the commotion. "It's Lu Ming. Lu Ming is being besieged. It's the Celestial Divine sect and the Poison Desire sect. These 2 sects really won't rest until Lu Ming is dead. They fight to the death whenever they meet. So many experts. Lu Ming is finished." Many figures flew over. When they saw so many experts surrounding Lu Ming and the others, they were shocked. "Attack together, people of the Desire Poison sect, attack together and kill Lu Ming," shouted someone crazily in the Heavenly Divine sect. That person was still wearing his black robe. "Kill. Let's attack together." The remaining experts from the Desire Poison sect and the Celestial Divinity sect numbered more than 20. All of them were half-saint experts. 5 of them were at the second stage of the half-saint realm. All of them charged towards Lu Ming. All kinds of attacks flooded towards Lu Ming from both the front and back. Whoosh. Suddenly, from the left, a few terrifying saber gleams slashed toward Lu Ming. Every saber gleam was filled with demonic aura. People from the Sky Universe Demon sect are also here to join in the fun. Lu Ming's eyes emitted a shocking killing intent. Whoosh. Lu Ming's figure moved, dodging the attacks from 3 directions. Then, like an eagle, he pounced towards the experts of the Celestial Divinity sect. The battle sword in his hand slashed downwards. 100-meter-long saber light slashed towards the experts of the Celestial Divinity sect. The terrifying might of the attack shocked the experts of the Celestial Divinity sect. "Join forces and block it," someone shouted. More than 10 half-saints of the Celestial Divinity sect joined forces to attack. More than 10 beams of saint light gathered together and shot towards Lu Ming. However, when Lu Ming's saber light landed, it broke through the saint light and slashed downwards. In an instant, 3 half-saints were killed by Lu Ming. Then, the battle sword slashed horizontally and killed another 2 experts. "Ah! Retreat! Quickly retreat!" The remaining people were almost scared to death. They frantically retreated. One of them took out a saint weapon. It was a small mountain and blocked in front of him. Clang! Lu Ming's sword slashed down on the small mountain and sent it flying. It crashed into that person's body. That person was directly smashed into a meat patty by his own saint weapon. In just a few breaths of time, Lu Ming had killed 6 half-saints of the Celestial Divinity sect. The surrounding people were dumbfounded. Lu Ming's battle strength had become even more terrifying. It was unknown how much stronger he was compared to 3 years ago. In his hands, half-saints were like ants. "Kill." Then, Lu Ming stepped into the void and charged toward the people from the Desire Poison sect. With a loud shout, the divine sword art erupted. More than 10 powerful figures from the Desire Poison sect screamed miserably. Then, the sword gleam slashed and more than 10 people from the Desire Poison sect were killed. Their poisonous bodies were completely useless in front of Lu Ming. Their souls were directly destroyed. Retreat! Retreat! The remaining people, including the ones fighting Tian Chui and Xuening Xin, were almost scared out of their wits. How could they dare to stay? They frantically fled in all directions. Shiguan, since you're here and want to take my interspatial ring, then there's no need for you to leave. Lu Ming stared at a black-robed man on the Celestial Divinity Sect side and stepped towards him. That person had shouted and attacked just now. Lu Ming had recognized him as Shiguan. Shiguan turned pale with fright and fled frantically. However, Lu Ming's speed was astonishing. He caught up with Shiguan in a few steps. He threw a punch and the fist force crushed Shiguan. Shiguan attacked with all his might, resisting with all his might. However, under Lu Ming's punch, he was sent flying. The black robe on his body exploded, revealing his true appearance. It was indeed Shiguan. His face was filled with shock and disbelief. Initially, he had brought experts here to rob Lu Ming of his interspatial ring. He had not expected Lu Ming's strength to be so terrifying. The first and second stage half-martial Sacred Realm cultivators were as vulnerable as babies in front of Lu Ming. A large number of them were slain with a single attack, resulting in a great loss. Although none of them had a high-level spiritual body, Lu Ming's strength was too terrifying. And now, Lu Ming was trying to kill him. He was no match against Qin Nan. 3 years ago, Lu Ming was only a 4th-layer martial dominator realm cultivator. He could only run for his life. However, now that he was in Lu Ming's hands, he might not even be able to escape. In just 3 years' time, the tables had turned. Kill. Lu Ming snapped coldly as the battle sword appeared in his hand once again and slashed at Shiguan. No. Shiguan desperately tried to defend himself. Stop it. A loud roar came from afar, causing the sky to rumble. However, Lu Ming did not stop there. He slashed down with all his might. Shiguan was killed by Lu Ming in despair. Whoosh. In the distance, a sacred light flashed and a handsome young man appeared in the sky. He looked at Lu Ming with intense killing intent. It's Luo Xuehan. Luo Xuehan is here. This is going to be interesting. Exclamations could be heard from all around. Junior brother, be careful. This is Luo Xuehan, the most powerful genius in the Zhangzhou after the Divine Sun. He's another peerless genius of the Celestial God sect. Tian Chui and Xuening Xin came to Lu Ming's side. Xuening Xin whispered. Lu Ming nodded. At the treasure identification meet 3 years ago, there was a new unparalleled genius in the Celestial Deity sect. At the treasure identification meet, he was second only to the Son of God and ranked second among the top 10 geniuses. Later, the Divine Sun broke through to the Saint Realm and was removed from the ranking. That person rose to first place. That genius was Luo Xuehan. Chapter 1677. Luo Xuehan swept his gaze across the crowd. When he realized that Lu Ming had killed so many experts, the killing intent in his eyes intensified. Lu Ming, how dare you kill so many of my heavenly God sect's people? What punishment do you deserve? Luo Xuehan said coldly. What punishment do I deserve? What a joke. You people from the Heavenly God sect stopped me halfway and tried to steal my storage ring. Don't you deserve to die? Lu Ming smiled faintly. Nonsense. How could my Heavenly God sect's people do such a thing? Luo Xuehan shouted. He then turned to the remaining people of the Heavenly God sect and said, Is what Lu Ming said true? Did you try to steal his storage ring? There's no such thing. Lu Ming is talking nonsense. He harbors a grudge against the Celestial Deity sect and attacked us for no reason. The brothers from the Desire Poison sect can testify to this, right? A middle-aged man from the Heavenly God sect shouted as he looked at the remaining people of the Desire Poison sect. That's right. It's true. Lu Ming has lost his mind and attacked us all of a sudden, The people of the Desire Poison sect also shouted. This was completely a blatant lie. Lu Ming, what else do you have to say? A life for a life. Luo Shuihan sneered. What do I need to say? What else do I need to say to a group of shameless people like you? Just kill them. You just want to find a reason to attack. Why do you need to talk so much nonsense? Yes, I did it. If I see anyone from the Heavenly God sect in the future, I'll kill them all. Hurry up and kill them. Lu Ming's face was full of disdain as he shouted. Very good. Very good. Then you can go to hell. Luo Shuihan's holy light spread out and turned into a belt of light that surrounded his body. He looked incomparably sacred. Although Lu Ming's combat strength was very strong, he still didn't put him in his eyes. Those who had been killed by Lu Ming were nothing in Luo Shuihan's eyes. Luo Shuihan had a superior earth spiritual body, and his cultivation had reached the peak of the third stage of the half-saint realm. He was the leader of the top 10 of elders in the Kang state, and none of the geniuses at the same level as him were a match for him. Normally, he could kill a large number of first and second stage half-saints with a single slap. The others looked on nervously. Many people believed that Lu Ming would not stand a chance against Luo Shuihan and would be killed. Was Lu Ming going to die at the hands of Luo Shuihan before he could challenge the Son of God? Bang! Bang! Luo Shuihan stepped forward, and the holy light became more and more intense. Luo Shuihan, I'll fight you. At this moment, a voice sounded out, followed by a dragon's roar that shook the 9 heavens. A purple light flashed, and a purple figure appeared in front of Luo Shuihan. Boom! Luo Shuihan struck out with his palm. Holy light burst out, and the law flowed. A dragon's roar came from the purple figure's body. A purple dragon claw shot out and collided with Luo Shuihan's claw. An earth-shattering explosion sounded out. Both the purple figure and Luo Shuihan couldn't help but retreat. However, Luo Shuihan only took 3 steps back, while the purple figure took 4 to 5 steps back. Senior brother Zifeng. Lu Ming whispered. The figure that suddenly appeared was Zifeng, one of the top 10 of elders in the Kang state. Zifeng, if you want to stop me, I'll kill you first, and then Lu Ming. Luo Shuihan roared and charged at Zifeng. Do you think I'm afraid of you? Zifeng shouted and charged at Luo Shuihan. The two of them engaged in a fierce battle. Lu Ming was dumbfounded and helpless. He was going to take this opportunity to kill Luo Shuihan and weaken the strength of the Heavenly God sect. This way, the Divine Dragon Valley would have a higher chance of getting first place in the treasure sorting convention. That way, the fragments of the prison suppressing stele and the other treasure would belong to the Divine Dragon Valley, and Lu Ming would have a chance to get the prison suppressing stele fragment. Just as he was about to make a move, Zifeng rushed over, which made Lu Ming speechless. Zifeng and Luo Shuihan engaged in a fierce battle. Zifeng's cultivation was also in the third stage of the half-saint realm. He had a jar of law body, and his spiritual body was also a superior earth spiritual body. Although he was no match for Luo Shuihan, it would not be easy for Luo Shuihan to defeat Zifeng. In the blink of an eye, the two of them had exchanged dozens of blows. You must die for killing the people of the Heavenly God sect today. At this moment, an old voice came from afar. An old man in a white robe stepped on the void, and like a flash of white light, he arrived at the scene in an instant. His powerful and vast aura immediately locked onto Lu Ming. A saint aura filled the air. He was a saint. This battle had attracted the attention of the saints of the Heavenly God sect. The saint of the Heavenly God sect stood high in the sky, looking down from above. His terrifying saint aura filled the air, making many people feel pressured, and they could not help but retreat. Lu Ming is finished. With a saint attacking, he's even more doomed. That's right. A saint is even stronger than Luo Shuihan. Many people shouted. Bright saint lesser success. Lu Ming's lips curled into a disdainful smile, and a sharp light flashed in his eyes. Luo Shuihan was blocked. It was not bad to kill a saint. Old man, you're already so old. How dare you attack the younger generation? Do you think there's no one in the Dragon God Valley? A loud roar was heard. Then, a tall old man rushed over and stood in front of the saint of the heavenly god sect. He also exuded a vast saint aura. The Saint Realm Elder of the Dragon God Valley had arrived. The Saint Realm Elder of the Dragon God Valley exuded a powerful saint aura, blocking the saint of the heavenly god sect and Lu Ming behind him. Lu Ming was dumbfounded. "No way. Don't do this. Let me do it." Lu Ming roared in his heart. He was speechless. Previously, Luo Shuihan was blocked by Zifeng. Now, a bright Saint Lesser Success Saint was blocked by the Saint Realm Elder of the Dragon God Valley. It had completely ruined Lu Ming's plan. "Lu Ming, step back. With me here, this old man can't do anything to you," the Saint Realm Elder of the Dragon God Valley said. Lu Ming sighed. The people around them were also discussing. "Oh my god, Lu Ming is so lucky. The Dragon God Valley happened to have an expert nearby. Otherwise, he would be finished." "That's right. He's too lucky. However, he won't be able to go far by relying on luck. He will eventually meet the elites of the Heavenly God Sect in the Treasure Sorting Convention. Even if he doesn't die in the Treasure Sorting Convention, he will still die in the battle with the Divine Sun." The Saint of the Heavenly God Sect looked at the Saint of the Dragon God Valley coldly. However, he did not attack. The Saint of the Dragon God Valley was not weaker than him. If they fought, both sides would be injured. Boom. On the other side, Zifeng and Luo Shuihan both retreated after exchanging a blow. The difference was that Luo Shuihan was calm and composed, while Zifeng was panting heavily. His aura was weak. Luo Shuihan's eyes were filled with reluctance. It would be difficult to kill Lu Ming today. "Lu Ming, do you only know how to hide behind others? You can hide now, but you can't hide forever. You have nowhere to hide in the Treasure Sorting Convention. This time, I will make sure that the people of the Dragon God Valley will never return. Starting from the Treasure Sorting Convention in 10 days, I will let you know the consequences of offending the Heavenly God Sect." Chapter 1678. Let's go. The saints of the Heavenly Divinity Sect harumphed and left with the rest of the Heavenly Divinity Sect. The people of the Desire Poison Sect and the people of the Sky Demonic Sect who had launched a sneak attack also left quietly. "Lu Ming, are you alright?" The Saint Realm Elder of the Divine Dragon Valley asked Lu Ming. "Elder, I'm fine." Lu Ming replied helplessly. "Alright, let's go back first. The Heavenly Divinity Sect, Desire Poison Sect and the other sects will join forces at this treasure meeting. You must be prepared," the Elder of the Divine Dragon Valley said and flew back to the Divine Dragon Valley. Lu Ming, Tian Chue, Xuening Xin and Zifeng followed behind. The Divine Dragon Valley will be in danger at the treasure meeting in 10 days. Zifeng sighed. "How many top geniuses will there be in the Divine Dragon Valley?" Lu Ming asked. The top geniuses he was referring to were those with peak 6th layer martial royal realm and superior earth spiritual bodies. Such geniuses would be able to influence the outcome of the treasure meeting. "Only one. That's a far cry from 3 years ago." Zifeng sighed. Lu Ming frowned. The Divine Dragon Valley would be in danger if that was the case. They would definitely be targeted by the Heavenly Divinity Sect, Desire Poison Sect and the other sects at the treasure meeting. The Divine Dragon Valley would not be able to contend against them and might not even be able to enter the top 10. They would lose the right to participate in the treasure meeting. "Senior Brother Zifeng, I recommend someone who will be able to suppress the other top geniuses at the treasure meeting." Lu Ming's heart stirred as he thought of Su Lei. Su Lei had obtained the inheritance of Gusu City's ancestral land and her mystical yin dragon body was extremely terrifying. Lu Ming estimated that unless one had a heavenly spiritual body, they would not be a match for Su Lei. If Su Lei participated, she would be able to suppress everyone. Suppress the other top geniuses? Zifeng's eyes lit up. How could he not know that there was such a genius in the Divine Dragon Valley? However, since Lu Ming said so, he must be confident. "Alright, I'll recommend someone else," Zifeng said. As they chatted, they soon arrived at the outpost in Dragon God Valley. As soon as Lu Ming returned to the outpost in Dragon God Valley, he ran into two familiar faces, Qiu Yingying and Qiu Hao. Qiu Yingying was very happy to see Lu Ming. Yingying, congratulations, your cultivation has reached the 6th layer martial dominator realm. Lu Ming smiled faintly. The speed of Qiu Yingying's breakthrough was beyond Lu Ming's expectation. She had already reached LV6 martial royal realm. Qiu Yingying only had an ordinary spiritual body. Lu Ming thought that Qiu Yingying had once obtained an inheritance in the Kang Emperor's secret realm. Perhaps it was related to this. Hey! Suddenly, Lu Ming exclaimed and stared at Qiu Yingying carefully. Lu Ming, what are you looking at? Qiu Yingying blushed as Lu Ming stared at her. She said unnaturally, Senior brother Zifeng, 7th senior brother, 8th senior sister, please go back first. I have something to say to Yingying. Lu Ming said to Zifeng, Tian Chui, and the others. Haha, junior brother, I understand. I'll leave now. Tian Chui laughed and left with Xuening Xin with an I understand expression. Zifeng smiled and left as well. Oh, I forgot that I have something important to do. You guys go ahead, I'm leaving too. Qiu Hao slapped his head and winked at Qiu Yingying. He then flew into the air and left as well. Only Lu Ming and Qiu Yingying were left. Qiu Yingying's heart began to beat rapidly. She did not dare to look at Lu Ming. Lu Ming rubbed his nose and was speechless. It seemed that he had been misunderstood. Yingying, let's talk somewhere else. Lu Ming said as he walked toward an open space by the side. Qiu Yingying's heart beat faster. What does Lu Ming want to talk to me about? Does he like me? At this moment, Qiu Yingying's mind was filled with various thoughts. Yingying, was there a soul cultivation technique in the inheritance you obtained? Lu Ming asked after they arrived at the empty space. Millimeter, yes. Qiu Yingying was stunned at first, then she nodded. So that was what Lu Ming wanted to talk about. It seemed that she was wrong. She did not know why, but she felt a sense of loss. As expected, Lu Ming's eyes lit up. Lu Ming's soul power was extremely strong and he had also cultivated a soul cultivation technique. When he looked at Qiu Yingying, he found that Qiu Yingying's soul power was extraordinarily strong. Qiu Yingying's cultivation was at LV6 martial royal realm, but her soul power was far stronger than that. It was even close to LV8 martial royal realm. Such soul power was not something that ordinary people could possess. Therefore, Lu Ming immediately thought of the inheritance Qiu Yingying had obtained in the Emperor Kang's secret realm. Yingying, does the soul cultivation technique you obtained have any offensive skills? Lu Ming asked. Millimeter, yes. Qiu Yingying calmed herself down and nodded. Use it on me. Let me feel it. Use it with all your strength. Lu Ming said. Millimeter, okay. Qiu Yingying nodded. She knew that Lu Ming was much stronger than her, so she did not hold back. Qiu Yingying's eyes began to change and became pitch black. At this moment, Lu Ming realized that his surroundings had changed. It had become a purgatory. Roar. Roar. One by one, the purgatory fiends roared and charged toward Lu Ming. Illusion. Lu Ming muttered. Qiu Yingying's soul attack was an illusion. She used her powerful soul power to affect her opponent's soul and make him hallucinate. This kind of attack was mysterious and dangerous. Once a person fell into an illusion, he would be at the mercy of others. Break. Lu Ming whispered. His soul power shook slightly. The scene around him shattered like glass and returned to normal. Then, Qiu Yingying's delicate body trembled and she retreated. Her eyes returned to normal, but her face was pale. Yingying, are you okay? Lu Ming stepped forward and appeared beside Qiu Yingying. He asked with concern. Lu Ming's soul power was so powerful that it broke Qiu Yingying's illusion with a slight shake of his soul power. Even Qiu Yingying herself suffered from the backlash. I'm fine. It's just that my soul power shook a little. Lu Ming, your soul power is so powerful, Qiu Yingying said with amazement in her eyes. When her soul power came into contact with Lu Ming's soul power, she felt that Lu Ming's soul power was like a boundless ocean. Yingying, your soul attack is quite magical. I'll teach you a soul attack too, which will help your soul to rank up to the 8th layer martial dominator realm, or even higher. With that, No one below the high-level martial dominator realm in the Kang continent would stand a chance against you. Lu Ming said. Really, really? Qiu Yingying asked. Of course it's real. Look at this. A demon crystal appeared in Lu Ming's hand. This is a demon crystal. Chapter 1679. Lu Ming had an idea when he saw Qiu Yingying. He wanted to increase Qiu Yingying's soul power and teach her the holy sword skill. In this way, Qiu Yingying would be able to defeat the other geniuses of LV6 martial royal realm. If Qiu Yingying attended the treasure ordering meeting, she would definitely surprise the others. Yingying, let's go to your room. I'll help you increase your soul power, Lu Ming said. Okay. Qiu Yingying nodded. Lu Ming and Qiu Yingying went to her room. Lu Ming took out a piece of demon crystal and helped Qiu Yingying refine it. With Lu Ming's help and Qiu Yingying's own efforts, the speed of refining the demon crystal greatly increased. After refining one piece, Qiu Yingying took out another piece. Her soul power increased explosively. A few hours later, Qiu Yingying's soul power had reached the level of a LV8 martial royal realm martial artist, and it was still increasing. 3 days later, her soul force had another breakthrough, reaching the 9th layer martial dominator realm. Lu Ming stopped refining the demon crystal for Qiu Yingying. Qiu Yingying needed some time to adapt to the sudden increase. Yingying, how about you attend the treasure ordering meeting in 7 days? Lu Ming asked. Me? Sure, I've been wanting to attend for a long time. Unfortunately, I wasn't chosen. Qiu Yingying was looking forward to it. Her cultivation was good, but her body constitution was too weak. It was just an ordinary spiritual body. Even if she wanted to attend the treasure ordering meeting, she would still be chosen. Okay, I'll let senior brother Zifeng know. By the way, here's the holy sword skill. It's a soul cultivation and attack technique. Take it. Lu Ming took out a jade talisman and gave it to Qiu Yingying. It was the holy sword skill. Qiu Yingying took it and scanned it with her spiritual consciousness. She was delighted. Although her illusion technique was mysterious, it was not very aggressive. With the help of the holy sword skill, it would be like adding wings to a tiger. Lu Ming, thank you. Qiu Yingying smiled. Then, as if she had thought of something, a jade talisman appeared in her hand. She handed it to Lu Ming and said, Lu Ming, this is the soul art I practice. It might be useful to you. All right, then I won't hold back. Lu Ming didn't hesitate and put it away. Qiu Yingying's illusion technique was indeed very useful to Lu Ming. Yingying, you should familiarize yourself with your cultivation during this period of time. 7 days from now, you'll be participating in the treasure ordering meeting. Lu Ming said his goodbyes and left. After that, Lu Ming went to look for Su Lei and told her that he wanted her to participate in the treasure auction. Su Lei naturally agreed. With Su Lei's battle prowess, she also wanted to participate in the treasure peddling meeting. After that, Lu Ming returned to his room and entered the mountain river diagram. On a mountain peak, Ming Lian's second body was flowing with the power of formation Dao runes. He held a jade talisman in his hand and the runes entered the jade talisman. Bubble was standing on the second body's shoulder and using the law of spacetime to help the second body refine the jade talisman. Lu Ming was refining a kind of spacetime teleportation talisman. It was sealed with a trace of the law of spacetime. If it was crushed, one could instantly teleport 300 meters away. Lu Ming refined these jade talismans for the disciples of the Divine Dragon Valley who would be participating in the treasure sorting meeting this time. He did not want the disciples of the Divine Dragon Valley to be so passive and be killed by others like what happened 3 years ago. After that, Lu Ming appeared on another mountain peak. With a wave of his hand, a dragon bone appeared in front of him. This dragon bone was obtained from Gusu City's ancestral lands. Lu Ming unleashed his devouring power and started to refine the essence of the dragon bone. Time passed. In the blink of an eye, it was the day of the treasure peddling meeting. At this time, Lu Ming had almost refined the dragon bone, but his spiritual body didn't improve. He was still an inferior heavenly spiritual body. As expected, it's too difficult for my spiritual body to evolve after becoming a heavenly spiritual body. I wonder if the 3,000 kilograms of supreme Saint Dragon Bone can help my spiritual body evolve? Lu Ming thought. Then, he took out the mountain river diagram. Senior Lu Ming. Lu Ming. When Lu Ming appeared in the courtyard, he saw that Su Lei and Qiu Yingying were already there. Su Lei, Yingying, come with me. Lu Ming smiled and led Su Lei and Qiu Yingying to an open space in Dragon God Valley. There were dozens of people gathered there. They were the disciples of Dragon God Valley who were participating in the treasure peddling meeting. There were two people in front of them. One was a burly elder, who was the Saint State Elder. The other was Zifeng. As soon as Lu Ming arrived, everyone looked at Lu Ming. Especially the disciples who were going to participate in the treasure peddling meeting. They looked at Lu Ming with admiration. 3 years ago, Lu Ming had single-handedly helped Dragon God Valley win the first place in the small gathering. Junior brother Lu, you're finally here. Zifeng's eyes lit up when he saw Lu Ming. He smiled. Senior brother Zifeng, elder. Lu Ming cupped his fists at Zifeng and the Saint State Elder. Lu Ming, I heard from Zifeng that someone recommended you to participate in the treasure peddling meeting? The Saint State Elder asked as he looked at Su Lei and Qiu Yingying. Yes, it's them. Lu Ming pointed at Qiu Yingying and Su Lei. The Saint State Elder looked at Su Lei and Qiu Yingying with a strange light in his eyes. His eyes flickered as he glanced at Su Lei's figure. Her flesh is brimming with qi and blood, and her life force is as vigorous as fire. This is a superior earthly spiritual body, and her cultivation has reached the peak of the 6th layer martial dominator realm. I didn't know there was such a genius in the Dragon Valley. But, this girl seems to have an ordinary spiritual body. Lu Ming, are you sure you want her to participate? The Saint State Elder looked at Qiu Yingying with doubt. Don't worry, Elder. She'll surprise you. Lu Ming smiled. Okay, let's change them, the Saint State Elder said. He then changed the two weakest disciples to Qiu Yingying and Su Lei. At this moment, Lu Ming waved his hands and pieces of jade talismans appeared in the air. There were a total of 36 of them. Junior brothers and sisters, this treasure peddling meeting will be targeted by the Divine Sky Sect, Poison Sect, and other sects. It will be very dangerous, just like 3 years ago. Lu Ming spoke. Many people's expressions changed as fear flashed across their faces. Indeed, if they were targeted by the Divine Sky Sect and other sects like 3 years ago, some of the weaker disciples would be in danger. However, Dragon God Valley had ordered them to participate, so they had to participate. They could only try their best to stay alive. But this time, I won't let you make the same mistake as 3 years ago. Each of you will have 1 jade talisman. If you're in danger, crush the jade talisman and you can move 300 meters away, Lu Ming said. These words caused the eyes of all the disciples present, including the Sage Realm Elders and Zifeng, to burn with passion. They didn't expect to have such a treasure that could save their lives at a critical moment. Chapter 1680. Thank you, Senior Brother Lu Ming. All the 36 disciples bowed to Lu Ming to express their gratitude. Most of these disciples had probably been in the sect longer than Lu Ming. But on the path of martial arts, the stronger one was the first. Back in the Dragon God Valley, Lu Ming had made Yin Zisong kneel with 2 roars. His cultivation was unfathomable. These people naturally addressed Lu Ming as senior brother. Great, haha, let's go. The Sage State Elder was overjoyed. After shouting, he led the group to the venue of the treasure sorting party. Lu Ming and Zifeng also went. It was still the same venue 3 years ago. When Lu Ming and the others arrived, they found that the place was already full. Around the fighting ring, there were 13 circular platforms. The other 12 sects had already arrived. Only one platform was empty, and that was platform number 10. 3 years ago, Lu Ming and the others were on that platform. The participating disciples of the Dragon God Valley landed on platform number 10, while the Sage State Elder flew to the pavilion behind. Lu Ming and Zifeng landed on the spectator stand behind platform number 10. There were already many disciples of the Dragon God Valley sitting on the spectator stand. 9th junior brother, come, sit here. Tian Chue and Xuening Xin had also arrived. Tian Chui greeted Lu Ming. Lu Ming and Zifeng sat beside Tian Chui and Xuening Xin. Haha, the Dragon God Valley is finally here. I thought you guys were scared and cowardly. On the spectator stand of the Heavenly Divinity sect, a cold gaze swept towards Lu Ming. Luo Shuihan had also arrived. Wait a moment, the Dragon God Valley will let the Heavenly Divinity sect know how to write the word cowardly. Lu Ming said indifferently. Is that so? Luo Shuihan's eyes were filled with cold murderous intent. Lu Ming, you are still as arrogant as ever. Wait a minute, don't kill the disciples of Dragon God Valley because of you. There are also a few beauties inside. It would be a pity if they were killed by you. A cold voice sounded. Lu Ming looked towards the source of the voice, and a cold light flashed in his eyes. Mo Yang. The geniuses of the Sky Universe Demon sect had also come. Mo Yang, back in the Tianfeng Plains, who ran faster than a dog. You forgot so quickly. Lu Ming sneered. Mo Yang's face stiffened. Back then, in the Heavenly Wind Plains, Lu Ming had controlled a hurricane and chased him all over the place. He had always been brooding over this matter. Now that Lu Ming mentioned it, his face became even more gloomy. Lu Ming, you'd better pray that you don't encounter me in the treasure ranking meeting this time. Oh, I almost forgot, you still have to fight the godchild later on. In any case, you're dead for sure, so I can't be bothered to argue with a dead person, Mo Yang said coldly. Around them, many people's hearts raced. This time, the treasure ranking meeting had attracted so many experts. Several of the top 10 geniuses had come. The treasure ranking meeting had not yet begun, but the geniuses and Lu Ming were already at daggers drawn. Is Xiaoqing not here? Lu Ming's eyes scanned the Sky Universe Demon sect's grandstand, and he was a little disappointed. It seemed that Xian Yanqing still had not come to Kang Mountain. Otherwise, he would have guessed that Lu Ming would appear at the treasure ranking meeting. If Xian Yanqing had come, he would have definitely come to look for him. Since he had not appeared, it was likely that he was not coming. Junior brothers and sisters of the Celestial God sect, today, treat the people of Dragon God Valley well. Luo Shuihan's voice was heard. Junior brothers and sisters of the Sky Universe Demon sect, wait a moment. You must also treat the people of Dragon God Valley well, Mo Yang said coldly. On the other side, the people of the Desire Poison sect also looked coldly at the people of Dragon God Valley. Many people were astonished. Was the Dragon God Valley going to be targeted like 3 years ago? 3 years ago, Dragon God Valley had Lu Ming. Who would Dragon God Valley rely on this time? Moreover, it was said that there was only one top genius in Dragon God Valley. This time, Dragon God Valley would not be directly eliminated and could not even participate in the treasure ranking meeting, right? In the grandstand, many disciples of Dragon God Valley who were above the 7th level of the martial royal realm looked very gloomy. Damn it. Tian Chui gritted his teeth. Only Lu Ming looked calm. Zifeng's face was also gloomy. Not long after, a Saint Realm Elder of the Celestial God sect appeared and announced the rules of the competition and the rewards. This time, the rewards were exactly the same as 3 years ago. It was still 7 Emperor Region elixirs, which made many people's eyes burn with excitement. Then, the competition was announced. The Celestial God sect still occupied the number 1 platform and was the first to send someone to challenge. Whoosh! A young man from the Celestial God sect jumped onto the platform and emitted a powerful aura. He was a 6th level martial royal realm expert. He looked directly at Dragon God Valley and pointed at a 4th level martial royal realm youth. He said coldly, "You, come down and die." Many people were shocked. It was exactly the same as 3 years ago. The Celestial God sect directly sent out experts to kill the disciples of Dragon God Valley. Junior brother, stay alive first. The leader of Dragon God Valley this time was a young man in a purple robe from Violet Dragon Valley. Yes. The Dragon God Valley youth who was challenged nodded and jumped onto the platform. Die. The young man from the Celestial God sect charged towards the Dragon God Valley disciple. The Dragon God Valley disciple did not linger and rushed to the edge of the platform. You can't escape. You'll die. The young man from the celestial god sect attacked coldly and instantly caught up with the Dragon God Valley disciple. The difference in cultivation was too great. The Dragon God Valley disciple could not even escape. Whoosh! The young man from the celestial god sect formed a spear of divine punishment in his hand and stabbed towards the Dragon God Valley disciple. The Dragon God Valley disciple is dead meat. Such a thought appeared in many people's minds. At this moment, a ray of light shone from the Dragon God Valley disciple and enveloped him. In the next moment, his body trembled and disappeared. In the next moment, he reappeared 300 meters away. He was not far from the edge of the platform. The Dragon God Valley disciple took a few steps and rushed down the platform at lightning speed. What a powerful life-saving talisman! Many people around saw through the talisman. On the platform, the celestial god sect disciple snorted and returned to the first platform. You're lucky to have a life-saving talisman. However, there are still 35 people. Do they all have life-saving talismans? Only one more person can survive. Luo Shuehan said coldly. However, he did not see the joy in the eyes of the Dragon God Valley disciples. The jade talisman that Lu Ming gave them was really useful. They instantly felt more confident and more confident. Whoosh! Next, it was the second platform's turn to challenge the sects. The second platform was still the Sky Universe Demon sect. In fact, the platforms that the sects landed on were almost the same as 3 years ago. A young man from the Sky Universe Demon sect stepped onto the platform and looked towards the Dragon God Valley. You, come down and die. Chapter 1681. Everyone knew that the Heavenly Divinity sect and Empyrean Demon sect had teamed up against the Divine Dragon Valley, just like 3 years ago. Bring it on. The disciple of the Divine Dragon Valley jumped onto the fighting ring and glared at the disciple of the Empyrean Demon sect. Brat, you're arrogant. I'll make you wish you were dead. The disciple of the Empyrean Demon sect said coldly. You want to kill me? Why don't we make a bet? If you can't kill me, you'll kneel down and kowtow to me. The disciple of the Divine Dragon Valley sneered. Now that he had the jade talisman, he had the confidence to protect his life, and his courage increased. Brat, you're courting death. The disciple of the Empyrean Demon sect charged at the disciple of the Divine Dragon Valley. The disciple of the Divine Dragon Valley took a step forward and rushed to the edge of the fighting ring. However, the disciple of the demon sect caught up with him and slashed his blade at the disciple of the Dragon God Valley. However, the same thing happened in the previous battle. The disciple of the Dragon God Valley emitted a bright light, and in the next moment, he appeared 300 meters away and rushed out of the battle stage. I've said that you can't kill me. So what if you're a rank 6 Marshal Royal? The disciple of the Divine Dragon Valley said arrogantly. Damn it. The disciple of the Empyrean Demon sect glared at him and returned to the fighting ring. Another life preservation talisman. Don't tell me everyone has one. Impossible. Such a life preservation talisman is extremely precious. The Divine Dragon Valley doesn't have many of them. A commotion broke out in the surroundings. The Divine Dragon Valley is really willing to give away such a precious item to save their lives. However, what's the point of having a life preservation talisman? If you can't win, the Divine Dragon Valley will be the first to be eliminated. Luo Shuehan said coldly. He was in a bad mood. He had said that he would kill the disciple of the Divine Dragon Valley, but now, the disciple of the Divine Dragon Valley had saved his life. Is that so? Lu Ming smiled faintly, his expression calm. The challenges continued and soon, it was the Desire Poison sect's turn. As expected, the Desire Poison sect also sent out an expert to challenge the disciple of the Divine Dragon Valley. However, the disciple of the Divine Dragon Valley saved his life with a life preservation talisman and rushed down the fighting ring. The crowd was dumbfounded. Don't tell me the Divine Dragon Valley is giving everyone a talisman. However, this was useless. Even if he could survive, he would be targeted by the 3 great sects. He would definitely be the first to be defeated and eliminated. At that time, he wouldn't even be able to participate in the treasure ranking meeting. 3 years ago, there was Lu Ming. In the end, the Herculean King Kuanglan suppressed all the heroes. This time, who was there in Dragon God Valley? It was said that the quality of Dragon God Valley's prodigies this time was far inferior to 3 years ago. As for the Heavenly Divinity Sect, it was said that the geniuses of the Heavenly Divinity Sect were stronger than 3 years ago. There were 4 geniuses who had reached the peak of the 6th layer martial dominator realm and possessed the superior earthly spiritual body, which was one more than 3 years ago. The Empyrean Demon Sect and the Poison Sect weren't any weaker than they were 3 years ago. In that case, Dragon God Valley had no chance at all. The competition continued, and soon, it was Dragon God Valley's turn. What was different from 3 years ago was that this time, the Dragon God Valley disciples had life-saving talismans and could counterattack in advance. The leader of Dragon God Valley sent out a 6th layer martial dominator to challenge a 4th layer martial dominator from the Heavenly Divinity Sect and killed him. The disciples of the Heavenly Divinity Sect and Luo Shuihan's faces darkened. They didn't manage to kill a disciple of Dragon God Valley. Instead, one of them was killed by Dragon God Valley. Today, Dragon God Valley will be the first to be eliminated. Luo Shuihan said coldly. Hey, Luo, can you shut your mouth? You were already saying that you wanted to entertain my Dragon God Valley's disciples and kill them. Now that you can't kill them, you're saying that you want to be the first to eliminate my Dragon God Valley's disciples. Do you think you can rely on your mouth alone? Don't you feel pain when you slap your own face? Lu Ming said disdainfully. Ha ha ha. Fat. Tian Chue, Xuening Xin, and the others beside Lu Ming burst into laughter. Then, the other disciples of Dragon God Valley laughed as well. Hiccup. Luo Shuihan clenched his fists so tightly that his veins popped out. Soon, the first round was over and the second round began. The second round was the same as the first. The Heavenly Divinity Sect, Empyrean Demon Sect, and Desire Poison Sect sent out their experts to challenge Dragon God Valley. However, everyone from Dragon God Valley had a talisman, so none of them were killed. The people from the other sects were dumbfounded. Dragon God Valley had so many talismans to protect themselves. These talismans weren't very useful in other places. If the difference in strength was too great, the others would be able to catch up to them in a few moves. However, it was different on the battle stage. On the battle stage, 300 meters was enough to escape the battle stage and save one's life. The Heavenly Divinity Sect and the other 2 sects were helpless. What made the Heavenly Divinity Sect vomit blood was that when Dragon God Valley challenged them, they would send out their experts to kill a weakling from the Heavenly Divinity Sect. They couldn't kill Dragon God Valley's disciples, but Dragon God Valley could kill them. It was the same for every round after that. In every round, Dragon God Valley would lose 3 disciples, but one of them would be able to kill a disciple from the Heavenly Divinity Sect. Soon, the 8th round was over. 24 people from Dragon God Valley had been defeated, and only 12 were left. However, 8 people from the Heavenly Divinity Sect had been killed by Dragon God Valley. These were all geniuses, and the Heavenly Divinity Sect was heartbroken. They finally had a taste of what it felt like to be killed by Dragon God Valley 3 years ago. The Heavenly Divinity Sect had no way out. They could only eliminate Dragon God Valley as soon as possible to reduce their losses. The 9th round. Whoosh. A genius from the Heavenly Divinity Sect jumped onto the battle stage, and a violent aura filled the entire area. He was a peak level 6 martial royal realm cultivator. Although he wasn't one of the 4 strongest geniuses from the Heavenly Divinity Sect, he was one of the 4 strongest geniuses. He glanced at the Dragon God Valley. The remaining 12 people from Dragon God Valley were all level 6 martial royal realm cultivators. Little girl, come down. The genius from the Heavenly Divinity Sect looked at Qiu Yingying and said coldly. It's finally my turn. Qiu Yingying's eyes lit up as she stepped onto the battle stage. You must have a life-saving talisman with you. If that's the case, get off the battle stage yourself. Don't let me kill you. The genius from the Heavenly Divinity Sect said flatly. Qiu Yingying's cultivation was only at the early level 6 martial royal realm. She didn't look strong, and her vitality wasn't strong. She was obviously a person with an ordinary body constitution. Dragon God Valley had sent a person with an ordinary body constitution. They had no other geniuses. Zifeng, Lu Ming, you actually let a woman with an ordinary physique take part in the match. Has the Divine Dragon Valley declined to this extent? Can't you even send a decent person? Luo Shuihan sneered. He wouldn't let go of the chance to mock Dragon God Valley. Wait, don't slap your own face again. Chapter 1682. Oh! An early-stage martial royal realm cultivator with an ordinary body constitution. What else can he do other than escape with a life-saving talisman? Luo Shuihan sneered. Lu Ming ignored Luo Shuihan and looked at the fighting ring. I don't know how to use a life-saving talisman, Qiu Yingying said. You don't need a life-saving talisman. The eyes of the heavenly god sect's genius lit up. No, I don't need a life-saving talisman to deal with you, Qiu Yingying said. Her words made him burst out laughing. Many people from the Heavenly God sect and the Heavenly Universe Demon sect laughed as well. An early-stage martial royal realm cultivator with an ordinary spiritual body said that he didn't need a life-saving talisman to deal with a sixth martial royal realm cultivator from the Heavenly God sect. How arrogant and presumptuous. If you don't need a life-saving talisman, die. The Heavenly God sect's genius said coldly. Holy light surrounded him as he took a step forward. A holy light sword appeared in his hand and he slashed at Qiu Yingying. However, Qiu Yingying changed in his eyes. Qiu Yingying seemed to have disappeared in front of him. His surroundings changed and turned into a purgatory. Countless demons charged at the Heavenly God sect's genius. How can this be? Get lost. The Heavenly God sect's genius roared. His sword chi slashed at the demons. The demons were killed one after another, but more demons pounced on him. He started a fierce battle with the demons. Of course, he only saw it with his own eyes. Most of the people present were dumbfounded. They only saw the Heavenly God sect's prodigy charging at Qiu Yingying aggressively. But halfway there, he suddenly stopped and let out an inexplicable roar. Then, he began to randomly attack the air. Qiu Yingying just stood there motionless. The Heavenly God sect's genius was fighting fiercely. Everyone present was dumbfounded. What's this old man doing? Even the disciples of the Divine Dragon Valley were dumbfounded. Only two people had calm expressions on their faces. One of them was Lu Ming, and the other was Qiu Hao. Qiu Hao knew that Qiu Yingying's inheritance could use soul illusions. Junior brother Lu Ming, you already knew about it. Zifeng took a deep breath and looked at the calm Lu Ming. He finally understood why Lu Ming wanted Qiu Yingying to participate in the competition. Yes, senior brother, look down. Lu Ming nodded and smiled. Jiao 7, what are you doing? Luo Shuihan shouted from the Heavenly Divinity sect's grandstand. His face was burning. What was Jiao 7th doing? However, his shout was useless. The Heavenly Celestial sect's elite disciple was still wildly hacking at the air as he shouted, kill and scram. At this moment, Qiu Yingying took a light step forward, and a long sword appeared in her hand. She walked toward her opponent. It was as if the other party couldn't see Qiu Yingying at all. He swung his sword randomly, but none of his attacks hit Qiu Yingying. Jiao 7, what are you doing? Retreat! Retreat! The Heavenly God sect's people shouted loudly. But it was useless. Jiao 7th did not seem to be able to hear him. Qiu Yingying arrived in front of Jiao 7th and stabbed him with her sword. Jiao 7th did not react at all. His dantian was pierced by Qiu Yingying's sword. At this moment, Jiao 7th finally stopped his random slashing. His eyes widened as he stared blankly at Qiu Yingying. He stared blankly at the long sword that had pierced through his dantian and destroyed his spiritual spirit. He continued to spit out blood and his eyes were filled with disbelief. Buzz! Qiu Yingying's sword vibrated and Jiao 7th was sent flying. He was no longer breathing. The entire area was silent. Qiu Yingying's attack was too strange. Jiao 7th had died in a strange way. Great! After a while, the disciples of the Divine Dragon Valley burst into cheers. The disciples of the Heavenly Divinity sect looked gloomy. An early-stage LV6 martial royal realm cultivator with an ordinary spiritual body can do this. She can easily kill your elite disciple. Do you see that? Lu Ming looked at Luo Shuihan and said coldly. His voice was filled with mockery. Luo Shuihan gritted his teeth and his eyes were filled with murderous intent. He had just said that an early-stage LV6 martial royal realm cultivator with an ordinary spiritual body could not do anything other than using talismans to save her life. Now, it was proven that she could kill the elite disciple of the Heavenly Divinity sect. This was a slap to his face. I told you to cut the crap. Otherwise, you'll only slap your own face. Now, do you feel good? Lu Ming continued. Lu Ming, don't be too happy. The treasure peddling meeting is not over yet. Luo Shuihan gritted his teeth. Then let's continue watching. Lu Ming smiled faintly. Qiu Yingying killed her opponent and returned to the platform. Then, the Tianyu Demon Sect and the Poison Sect were more cautious and eliminated 2 more disciples of the Divine Dragon Valley. In this way, the Divine Dragon Valley was left with 10 people. When it was the Divine Dragon Valley's turn, they did not continue to challenge the Heavenly Divinity Sect. Instead, they turned their attention to the Tianyu Demon Sect and killed one of their disciples. Soon, the 9th round was over and the 10th round began. From the 10th round onwards, no one dared to challenge Qiu Yingying. Qiu Yingying was put aside for the time being. After another 2 rounds, 6 more people were eliminated. Only 4 people were left. They were the leaders, Qiu Yingying, Su Lei, and a genius from the Ice Dragon Valley. The Divine Dragon Valley had the least number of people. Why is the situation so similar to 3 years ago? The Divine Dragon Valley had the least number of people in the beginning, but they turned the tables in the end. Will the Divine Dragon Valley turn the tables this time? Many people were discussing. Impossible. 3 years ago, the Divine Dragon Valley had Lu Ming, but this time, there's no way another Lu Ming will appear. Although Qiu Yingying's skills are mysterious, she might be able to defeat a top elite disciple. That's right. If they want to turn the tables like 3 years ago, they have to be like Lu Ming and be able to defeat all of them. Otherwise, there's no hope. While everyone was discussing, a new round began. This time, the Heavenly Divinity Sect sent a top elite to challenge the Divine Dragon Valley. He was one of the 4 most powerful people from the Heavenly Divinity Sect. His name was Cai Ying, a peak LV6 martial royal realm cultivator with a superior earth spiritual body. Cai Ying glanced at the 4 people from the Divine Dragon Valley and finally fixed his eyes on Su Lei. He said, "Come and fight me." This time, the Heavenly Divinity Sect was tough. They wanted to eliminate the Divine Dragon Valley first. Su Lei's cultivation was strong and her blood qi was vigorous. She gave off a strong pressure. No one had challenged her before. Su Lei's eyes lit up and she flew up to the fighting ring. "Hello. Hello. Why don't we stop here?" Su Lei said timidly. Her words made everyone look at each other. Su Lei looked strong, but why was she as timid as a mouse? A smile appeared on Cai Ying's face. Chapter 1683. Little girl, I'll give you a chance. Surrender and join the Heavenly Divinity Sect, and I'll let you go. Cai Ying said calmly. He was too embarrassed to kill a little girl like her. No, no. Su Lei shook her head vigorously and said, I won't surrender. I'm a disciple of the Divine Dragon Valley. I told you not to go too far because I don't want to kill you. What? Many people were dumbfounded. Su Lei said not to go too far because she was afraid that Cai Ying would be killed. Many people shook their heads and laughed. Cai Ying was the top-notch genius at the Treasure Ding Ding small gathering. Unless it was the demon Lu Ming from 3 years ago, no one would be able to kill Cai Ying. At most, they would be able to defeat him. Little girl, you're just pretending to be innocent. You're courting death. Cai Ying was enraged and his eyes were filled with cold murderous intent. He thought that Su Lei was playing with him. Swoosh. Cai Ying's body flashed and he threw a palm at Su Lei. A huge yellow palm pressed down on Su Lei. Cai Ying didn't practice the sacred cultivation technique of the Heavenly Divinity Sect, but something else. A dragon's roar came from Su Lei's body. Then, Su Lei threw a palm out. Boom. Su Lei's small hand slapped against the large brown hand. The large brown hand seemed to have been frozen by a gust of cold air. With a bang, it shattered. Mountain-crushing fist. Since Cai Ying's attack failed, he continued to throw out punches with both his fists. Streaks of earthy yellow fists were like huge mountains as they pressed down on Su Lei. Su Lei's petite body looked like she would be drowned at any time. The hearts of some people in the Divine Dragon Valley rose to their throats. Suddenly, a dark yin river appeared on Su Lei's body and it emitted a terrifying cold air. The dark yin river surrounded Su Lei's body. She spun her palms in the air and a terrifying cold current burst out. The mountain-like fist radiance was shattered. Then, Su Lei took a step forward and rushed towards Cai Ying. With a palm strike, the dark yin river transformed into a dark yin dragon and danced in the air, destroying everything in its path. Cai Ying's pupils rapidly shrank as he frantically punched out with both his fists. However, wherever the mysterious yin dragon passed, all of his attacks were destroyed. Cai Ying was shocked. He took a step forward and 18 yellow walls appeared in front of him. He wanted to block the dark yin dragon's attack. The enigmatic yin dragon roared and turned back into the enigmatic yin river. The enigmatic yin river expanded rapidly, and the water flooded the sky, drowning Cai Ying in the river. "Keep," Su Lei said softly and kept the dark yin river. Cai Ying stood stiffly on the fighting stage. There was no aura on his body. Dead. Cai Ying was dead, killed by Su Lei. Bang. At this moment, Cai Ying's body shattered like an ice cube. Hiss. The crowd took a deep breath, their gazes toward Su Lei were filled with astonishment. The seemingly timid and harmless Su Lei had actually killed Cai Ying. Cai Ying was a peak-level cultivator with a high-grade earthly spiritual body, yet Su Lei was able to kill him. Great! The Dragon God Valley erupted into cheers, while the Heavenly God sect was dead silent. Luo Shuihan's face was so gloomy that it was about to drip water. A genius with a superior earth spiritual body had died. It was a great loss. A genius with a superior earth spiritual body had the potential to become one of the top 10 monstrous geniuses in the Kang state. The Heavenly God sect had become stronger in the past few decades. They were becoming the top sect in the Kang state. That was why they had recruited so many geniuses. It was good enough for the other sects to have 1 or 2 geniuses. Is the Dragon God Valley going to turn the tables like they did 3 years ago? Many people had the same thought. Su Lei was able to kill even the most elite of geniuses. She truly had the strength to turn the tides of the battle. The top geniuses of the other sects looked at Su Lei with fear and seriousness. Many people in the Dragon God Valley looked at Lu Ming with admiration. They knew that Su Lei and Qiu Yingying were recommended by Lu Ming. They didn't expect them to be so monstrous. Lu Ming smiled. There were differences in strength between spiritual bodies of the same level. Su Lei's mystical yin dragon body was undoubtedly a terrifying body constitution. "I told you not to go too far, but you didn't listen," Su Lei muttered softly. Although her voice was soft, it was heard by everyone. Many people were speechless. The people of the Heavenly God sect wanted to vomit blood. In the beginning, who knew that Su Lei had such powerful strength? Su Lei mumbled a few words and returned to the platform. "Senior brother Lu Ming, am I okay?" Su Lei looked at Lu Ming and asked timidly. "Millimeter, not bad. But Su Lei, you can't go easy on your enemies. If you don't kill them, they will kill you and your family. Do you understand?" Lu Ming said. "Millimeter, Su Lei understands." Su Lei nodded. This made the hearts of the disciples of the Heavenly God sect, Heavenly Universe Demon sect, and Poison sect sink. "We have to change our tactics," the leader of the Heavenly Universe Demon sect said. The leaders of the Heavenly God sect and Poison sect looked pale. They looked at each other and nodded helplessly. In the beginning, they wanted to eliminate the Dragon God Valley in advance by taking turns. But now, the Dragon God Valley had Su Lei who could kill top supreme talents. This was troublesome. If they took turns to take turns, they might lose their lives. By then, They wouldn't even be able to participate in the treasure assembly. They could only take the same path as 3 years ago and eliminate a few weaker sects to maintain their position in the top 10. This made them want to vomit blood. They came aggressively at the beginning and wanted to eliminate the Dragon God Valley first. But now, they had to take the same path as 3 years ago. There was nothing more ironic than this. The disciples of the 3 major sects, especially Luo Shuehan and Mo Yang, looked even gloomier. Could it be that things would really develop like they did 3 years ago? Many people thought so. If that was the case, the Heavenly God sect and the other 2 major sects would be humiliated. After that, the Heavenly Universe Demon sect began to send people to challenge the weaker sects. It was the Dragon God Valley's turn to continue killing the supreme talents of the 3 major sects. But the 3 major sects had no choice but to accept it. Round after round, the battles continued. After many rounds, the 3 weakest factions were finally eliminated by the Celestial sect, the Sky Universe Demon sect and the Desire Poison sect. The top 10 was born. After the top 10 was born, the Heavenly God sect, Heavenly Universe Demon sect, and Poison sect finally took action against the Dragon God Valley. Let's take turns to eliminate the Dragon God Valley. The eyes of the supreme talents of the 3 major sects were burning. The Heavenly God sect first sent a supreme talent to challenge the Dragon God Valley. The supreme talent of the Ice Dragon Valley was defeated. Then, the Heavenly Universe Demon sect sent a supreme talent to fight the leader of the Dragon God Valley. The battle was intense, but in the end, the supreme talent of the Heavenly Universe Demon sect was stronger. He came prepared and defeated the leader of the Dragon God Valley. Chapter 1684. The situation was becoming more and more similar to 3 years ago. However, would Qiu Yingying and Su Lei be able to fend off the attacks? Soon, it was the Desire Poison sect's turn. Qiu Yingying must be skilled in soul attacks. She has a strong soul and can create illusions. You just have to remain calm and use your poisonous insects to deal with Qiu Yingying. Luo Shuehan sent a message to the Desire Poison sect's genius. The Desire Poison sect's genius's eyes lit up and he cupped his fists at Luo Shuehan to express his gratitude. Lu Ming, don't think that I can't do anything to you just because you found someone skilled in soul power. Let's see how she'll die. Luo Shuehan looked at Lu Ming, her eyes flashing coldly. Sensing Luo Shuehan's gaze, Lu Ming's lips curled into a faint sneer. Whoosh! The Desire Poison sect's genius jumped onto the fighting stage and challenged Qiu Yingying. Qiu Yingying stepped onto the fighting stage and stood to the side without moving. The 2 of them faced each other. The Desire Poison sect's genius emitted a poisonous gas from his body. At the same time, poisonous insects flew out of his body and circled around him. However, the Desire Poison sect's genius did not attack. Instead, the poisonous gas around him surged toward Qiu Yingying. At this moment, Qiu Yingying's eyes turned pitch black. They were like 2 deep wells, pitch black and unfathomable. At that moment, the Desire Poison sect's genius realized that the scene around him had changed. It had turned into hell. Countless demons waved their demonic weapons and charged toward him. Illusions. It's all illusions. The genius of the Desire Poison sect told himself that he would stand still and let the fiends slash at him. Those abyss devils rushed past like phantoms. Haha, it's useless. It's all illusions. The Desire Poison sect's youth was overjoyed. He circulated his true origin and released poisonous gas. He could not see where Qiu Yingying was because of the illusions. However, as long as he filled the fighting stage with poisonous gas, Qiu Yingying, who had an ordinary spiritual body, would not be able to hold on for long. At that moment, Qiu Yingying stepped forward and walked toward the Desire Poison sect's genius. Many people watched anxiously. Qiu Yingying had killed a genius of the Celestial God sect just like that. Would it be the same as the last time? Qiu Yingying arrived in front of the Desire Poison sect's prodigy and thrust her sword forward. However, at that moment, the poisonous insects that were flying around the Desire Poison sect's prodigy suddenly transformed into a battle sword and charged toward Qiu Yingying. Qiu Yingying's expression changed. She blocked the attack with her long sword, but her body shook and was sent flying. At the same time, wisps of poisonous gas crawled up Qiu Yingying's body and corroded her protective Jinyuan and domain. Haha, this move of hers is useless. The poisonous insects of the Desire Poison sect can sense her aura and automatically attack her. This woman is dead for sure. In the stands, Luo Shuihan laughed heartily, revealing a smug expression. You're not afraid of being slapped in the face again? Lu Ming glanced at Luo Shuihan indifferently. She's proficient in soul power and can create illusions. Don't think that I can't see through it. But now, illusions are useless. With her cultivation, she's doomed. Luo Shuihan sneered with a confident expression. But at this moment, the situation on the battle stage suddenly changed. Die! Qiu Yingying shouted. Two pitch-black sword lights shot out from her eyes and pierced into the body of the Desire Poison sect's prodigy. The Desire Poison sect's prodigy let out a shrill cry as poisonous gas surged around his body. In the next moment, the prodigy of the Desire Poison sect's prodigy collapsed on the battle stage. Dead. The prodigy of the Desire Poison sect had died just like that. How could this be? Everyone was shocked. They had only seen Qiu Yingying shout and the prodigy of the Desire Poison sect had died. He was a top prodigy. Bam! Luo Shuihan slammed his palm on his seat, shattering it. His face was burning. He had just said that Qiu Yingying was doomed, but in the next moment, the prodigy of the Desire Poison sect had died. It was like a slap to his face. Luo Shuihan, won't your face swell? Lu Ming laughed disdainfully. Everything was within Lu Ming's expectations. Qiu Yingying's current soul power was too strong. It was equivalent to the soul power of a LV9 martial royal realm martial artist. Previously, Qiu Yingying had only used the soul power of a LV7 martial royal realm martial artist. Just now, Qiu Yingying had unleashed her strongest soul power and used the divine sword art. The prodigy of the Desire Poison sect was unable to resist and his soul was destroyed. In this competition where the strongest cultivator was only a LV6 martial royal realm martial artist, Qiu Yingying was unbeatable. 3 years ago, when Lu Ming had participated in the treasure sorting convention, his soul power was not as strong as Qiu Yingying's. Luo Shuihan's face turned red when he heard Qiu Yingying's disdainful voice. The prodigies of the Celestial God sect, the Sky Universe Demon sect, and the Desire Poison sect were silent. She had killed a top prodigy with just a shout. How could they continue the battle? Would it work if they took turns? Would they be courting death? How many times could she launch such an attack with her soul power? They had no idea. Qiu Yingying took her opponent's storage ring and returned to the stage. The competition continued. There were only 2 people left in the Dragon God Valley, but no one dared to challenge them. Soon, it was the Dragon God Valley's turn. Su Lei stepped onto the fighting ring and looked at one of the top prodigies of the Celestial God sect. The top genius of the Heavenly God sect wore a solemn expression. After exchanging 2 blows with Su Lei, he actually wanted to rush off the fighting stage, not daring to continue fighting. Dark Yin River. Su Lei intertwined with Su Lei and the Dark Yin River swept toward her opponent. No. Her opponent was terrified. He used all his strength to resist the attack, but the result was his death. He froze to death in the Dark Yin River. The Celestial God sect had lost 2 top prodigies. Damn it. What should we do? What should we do? The 2 girls from the Dragon God Valley are too strong. We can't defeat them. The top prodigies of the Celestial God sect, the Sky Universe Demon sect, and the Desire Poison sect panicked. If they were targeted by Su Lei and Qiu Yingying, they would die. The remaining top prodigies of the 3 sects were especially afraid. With their talents, they did not want to die here. Lu Ming, I will make the Dragon God Valley pay with their blood at the treasure sorting assembly. Luo Shuihan said coldly from the spectators' stand. Then, he rose into the air and left. He did not want to watch what happened next. The result seemed to have been decided. The remaining prodigies of the 3 sects had lost their courage to fight. They only wanted to save their own lives. Of course, they could save their own lives, but it would be embarrassing. Humph. Mo Yang also stood up and left after Luo Shuihan. Sure enough, when it was the celestial god sect's turn to challenge, they sent out a top prodigy. However, he did not challenge the Dragon God Valley. Instead, he challenged a top prodigy from the Sky Universe Demon sect. Then, the two of them exchanged a few blows before both of them left the fighting ring. They were despised by everyone. Chapter 1685. The Celestial Divinity sect and the Empyrean Demon sect's actions were obviously to save their own lives. Otherwise, when the Dragon God Valley challenged them, another elite genius would die. When it was the Empyrean Demon sect's turn, they also sent out a top genius to challenge a top genius from the Celestial God sect. The two of them exchanged a few blows and fell off the fighting ring. In this way, the top geniuses from the Celestial God sect and the Empyrean Demon sect were all defeated. Ha ha ha, what are they doing? Are they playing house? Tian Chue laughed loudly and his voice echoed throughout the area. Senior brother, there's something you don't know. These people bully the weak and fear the strong. They bully those who are easy to bully and act all high and mighty. When they see that they are no match for them, they are scared to death. In order to save their lives, they will resort to any means. Xuening Xin added. No wonder Mo Yang and Luo Shuehan ran away so quickly. They probably can't stand it anymore. Tian Chue grinned. The two of them echoed each other, and the people from the Celestial God sect and the Empyrean Demon sect were so angry that they almost vomited blood. However, they could not refute them. It was too embarrassing. This time, the sects had lost all their face. It was even more embarrassing than 3 years ago. 3 years ago, they could still fight. This time, they did not even dare to fight. I have something to do. I'll take my leave first. I'll take my leave too. At this time, some disciples of the Celestial God sect and the Empyrean Demon sect who were above the 7th level of the martial royal realm stood up and left. It was too embarrassing to stay any longer. The people from the Dragon God Valley were extremely happy. They felt that their minds were clear and their thoughts were clear. This time, the Dragon God Valley had not lost a single person but had killed so many top geniuses from the Celestial God sect. It was too satisfying. More people knew that it was because of Lu Ming. It was all because of Lu Ming that this was the outcome. If Lu Ming had not taken out the life-saving talisman, a group of people would have died when they were targeted by the 3 sects. Su Lei and Qiu Yingying were also brought in by Lu Ming. They did not expect Su Lei and Qiu Yingying to be so terrifying. This time, they had slapped the faces of the Celestial God sect, the Empyrean Demon sect and the Poison sect. Then, the competition continued. When it was the Desire Poison sect's turn, they no longer had any top prodigies. The only one they had was killed by Qiu Yingying. They sent out a random prodigy to challenge another sect. There was no suspense in the next challenge. Every time it was Dragon God Valley's turn to challenge, one of the 3 sects would definitely be killed. As a result, the 3 great sects had no desire to continue fighting. They would directly challenge each other. Every time, both sides would suffer great losses. Their goal was to preserve their lives. This continued until the Heavenly Divine sect, Heavenly Universe Devil sect, and Poison Desire sect were the first to be eliminated. This process was very similar to what happened 3 years ago. However, this time, the remaining top geniuses from the other sects were unable to defeat Su Lei and Qiu Yingying. 3 years ago, Lu Ming was alone. At that time, Lu Ming's cultivation was only at the 4th layer of the Martial Emperor realm, so they could take turns to fight him. But this time, Su Lei and Qiu Yingying were 2 people, so they could take turns to rest. Fighting in a chaotic battle was not very effective. In the end, the geniuses had no choice but to tell Qiu Yingying and Su Lei that it was just a friendly match. They were defeated one by one. The rest of the competition was very boring because there was no more suspense. In the end, only Su Lei and Qiu Yingying were left in the fighting ring. After 3 years, Dragon God Valley had won the treasure-peaking convention again without losing a single person. This had never happened before in history. The Saint Realm Elder of the Heavenly Divine sect was as black as charcoal. After giving the 7 Emperor region elixirs to Su Lei and Qiu Yingying, he left with the disciples of the Heavenly Divine Sect. The Heavenly Universe Devil Sect and Poison Desire Sect also left with their tails between their legs. The Saint Realm Elder of Dragon God Valley walked out, grinning from ear to ear. The battle ended with Dragon God Valley's complete victory. The disciples of Dragon God Valley happily returned to their encampment. Junior brother Lu Ming, you must be careful at the treasure peeking convention in 7 days. I'm afraid Mo Yang and Luo Shuihan will target you. Zifeng said worriedly. Don't worry. Lu Ming smiled. Everyone went back to their rooms to prepare for the treasure peeking convention in 7 days. Lu Ming also went to his room, but before he reached it, a disciple of Dragon God Valley came to report to Lu Ming that someone wanted to see Lu Ming. Lu Ming was curious. Who could it be? There was a quiet bamboo forest at the back of the mountain of Dragon God Valley. When Lu Ming stepped into the bamboo forest, his eyes lit up. In front of him was a lady in a white dress. She was beautiful and stood in the bamboo forest like a fairy from a painting. Xian Yanjuan. Although Xian Yanjuan and Xian Yanqing looked almost the same, Lu Ming could still recognize him at a glance. Lu Ming did not expect the person looking for him to be Xian Yanjuan. Xian Yanjuan, long time no see. Lu Ming stepped forward and said faintly. Ever since the Sky God sect and other sects went to the Divine Ruins mainland to recruit disciples, Xian Yanjuan was chosen by the Sky God sect and came to the Yuan continent. They had not seen each other for almost 6 years. Xian Yanjuan had come to the Yuan continent 2 years earlier than them. All these years, Xian Yanjuan had not shown himself. Why did he look for Lu Ming now? Long time no see indeed. I already know about the Divine Wilderness mainland, Xian Yanjuan said with a faint smile. Lu Ming's eyes lit up as he looked at Xian Yanjuan and said, You sent people to the Divine Wilderness? That's right. But don't worry, I did not interfere with the matters of the Divine Wilderness mainland. After all, the Divine Wilderness mainland is too small. It's not enough to fight for it. It's good that the Xie family ended up like that, Xian Yanjuan said softly. Oh, you came to look for me because of this? Lu Ming asked as he heaved a sigh of relief in his heart. Of course not. I came to look for you because of the Divine Sun. I want to tell you a secret about the Divine Sun, Xian Yanjuan said. Lu Ming's eyes flashed. He did not speak and looked at Xian Yanjuan. Lu Ming, let me tell you. The Divine Sun has broken through to the great success Bright Sage realm not long ago. Xian Yanjuan continued. Oh. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. The Divine Sun had indeed broken through. Moreover, the Divine Sun has cultivated a secret skill. If he explodes it, he can increase his combat strength for a short period of time. Xian Yanjuan continued. Why are you telling me this? Lu Ming asked. Why would Xian Yanjuan be so kind to tell him the Divine Sun's secret? One had to know that Xian Yanjuan was also a member of the Celestial Divinity Sect and the Saintess of the Celestial Divinity Sect. Back when Lu Ming first came to the Yuan continent and entered the Emperor Kang's secret realm, Xian Yanjuan had even asked someone to kill him. Now, he was so kind to remind him of the Divine Sun's secret. Lu Ming was naturally puzzled. I'll say the same thing again. The Divine Wilderness mainland is too small. Now, look at the Kang state and even the entire Yuan continent. Chapter 1686. Lu Ming understood. Xian Yanjuan was very ambitious. She wanted to control the Celestial Sect. However, in order to control the Celestial Sect, she had to get rid of the God's Son first, because the God's Son was the most popular candidate for the next sect master of the Celestial Sect. With the God's Son, it would be more difficult for Xian Yanjuan to control the Celestial Sect. She wanted to borrow Lu Ming's hand to get rid of the God's Son, so she told Lu Ming this secret. I'm only a half-step sage now, but the God's Son is already in the great success stage of the Bright Sage realm. I'm afraid I'm no match for the God's Son. Even if you tell me this, I'm afraid it's useless. Lu Ming stared at Xian Yanjuan and said, You came from a remote family in the Divine Wilderness continent, unified the Divine Wilderness, established the Dragon Alliance, and even killed all the experts in the Divine Ruins continent. Lu Ming, I believe that the God's Son won't be a problem for you. Xian Yanjuan said. After she finished speaking, she smiled in a flirtatious manner. Then, she turned around and left. This woman was very ambitious. Lu Ming's eyes flashed, but he had to admit that Xian Yanjuan's information was very useful to Lu Ming. The god's son had already broken through to the great success stage of the Bright Sage realm, and he knew a secret technique that allowed him to have a short burst of combat strength. When Lu Ming's cultivation level was still low, he had come into contact with many secret skills that allowed one to increase their combat power within a short period of time. However, those secret skills and means were only useful when one's cultivation level was low. At his current cultivation level, those secret skills were completely useless. In this way, Lu Ming was mentally prepared. Otherwise, he would be in danger if the god's son suddenly burst out. Great success stage of the Bright Sage realm? Lu Ming's eyes flashed and he returned to his room. After entering the mountain and river diagram, Lu Ming took out a pile of dragon bones and began to devour and refine them. This pile of dragon bones was bought by Lu Ming in the Supreme Treasure Pavilion. They were the bones of a great sage true dragon, and their spiritual essence was preserved very well. Time passed day by day. Soon, it was time for the treasure sorting convention. As for Lu Ming, he had finally refined all 3,000 kilograms of dragon bones. Still not enough. Lu Ming sighed softly. Even after refining all 3,000 kilograms of great sage-level dragon bone, Lu Ming's spirit body still hadn't evolved. It was still a low-grade spirit body. The amount of true dragon essence needed to evolve the heavenly spiritual body was beyond imagination. A huge amount of essence energy was stored in Lu Ming's body, but it hadn't accumulated to the point of evolution. In the future, he would need to refine more true dragon essence before the energy would erupt and evolve. It's almost time for the treasure sorting convention. Lu Ming got up and exited the mountain and river diagram. As soon as he left the mountain and river diagram, he ran into Tian Chui, Xuaningxin, Su Lei, Qiu Yingying, Qiu Hao, and Lu Xiongxiong. Ninth junior brother, you've finally come out of seclusion. The treasure sorting convention is about to begin. Let's go and meet up with the others, Tian Chui said. All right. Lu Ming nodded. The group flew towards an open space. When they arrived, they found that there were already many people there. In the middle of the open space were the participants of the treasure sorting convention. Lu Ming, Tian Chui, and Xuaningxin flew down and met up with the others. Junior brother Lu Ming. Zifeng nodded at Lu Ming kindly. There were others who also greeted Lu Ming. Lu Ming smiled in response. Of course, there were also cold gazes that looked at Lu Ming, such as Yin Zisong. They were surrounded by disciples of the divine Dragon Valley. There were even elders among them. Second senior brother, third senior brother. Lu Ming looked around and saw his second senior brother Long Yuanshan and third senior brother Yang Tianzong. The two of them nodded and smiled at Lu Ming. At this time, an old man in a purple robe walked over in the air. There were several other old men beside him, each of them exuding a vast aura. Purple Dragon Valley Master, someone exclaimed. Lu Ming's eyes narrowed. He did not expect the Purple Dragon Valley Master to come personally. Among the 7 valleys of the Dragon God Valley, the Purple Dragon Valley was undoubtedly in the top 3. The Purple Dragon Valley Master was also a rare expert in the Dragon God Valley. I will lead the treasure sorting convention this time. You must do your best to bring glory to the Dragon God Valley. Those who contribute in the treasure sorting convention will be heavily rewarded by the sect. Of course, if you are in danger, I hope you will prioritize your own safety. Do you understand? The Purple Dragon Valley Master said loudly as he landed in front of them. Yes. Everyone replied. All right, let's go. The Purple Dragon Valley Master and a few other elders flew into the air. Lu Ming and the rest followed behind them. Behind them were a large number of disciples of the Dragon God Valley who were there to watch. The venue of the treasure sorting convention was at the peak of the Kang Mountain. There was a huge fighting stage there, surrounded by rows of seats. It was huge and could accommodate hundreds of thousands of people at the same time. When Lu Ming and the rest landed, a few other sects had already arrived. The Dragon God Valley randomly chose a seat and landed. There were thousands of people, but they only occupied a small area. Then, the other sects landed one after another. There were many of them, and each sect had thousands of people. Only the Life and Death Sword sect was an exception. All of them added up to less than 100 people. The Life and Death Sword sect had very few people to begin with. Swoosh, swoosh. The sound of something breaking through the air was heard. One by one, the sects landed. Heavenly Universe Demon Sect, Heavenly God Sect, and so on. When the Heavenly Universe Demon Sect arrived, Lu Ming looked over. Then, a trace of disappointment flashed in his eyes. He did not see Xian Yanqing. Mo Yang looked coldly at Lu Ming with a sinister smile on his face. In the direction of the Heavenly God Sect, Luo Shuehan also looked at Lu Ming with a cold gaze. Lu Ming saw Xian Yanjuan, but he was a little surprised. This was because Xian Yanjuan was sitting in the audience's seat, not the contestant's seat. Xian Yanjuan is not participating. 7 days ago, when Lu Ming saw Xian Yanjuan, he vaguely felt that Xian Yanjuan's cultivation was very profound. He was at least a half-saint, and his realm was even stronger than Lu Ming's. However, Xian Yanjuan hid it very well, so Lu Ming could not see through Xian Yanjuan's specific cultivation. With such a cultivation, why is he not participating? Lu Ming was a little puzzled. Every time the treasure sorting convention was held, only 10 sects would participate. The other 3 top sects had already been eliminated in the treasure sorting convention, but there was still a large number of people who came to watch. In addition to the 13 top sects, there were also some small sects and forces who came to watch. This was the biggest event in the Kang state, which was held once every 3 years. Naturally, it attracted many people. That's the Divine Child. The Divine Child is here. Suddenly, someone let out a cry of surprise. Everyone looked over. The Divine Child was dressed in a white robe and bathed in holy light. He was like the son of a god, stepping on the air. He did not exude a strong aura, but he gave off a strong pressure. He stood high in the air above the battle platform, looking down on everyone like a god. He was extremely arrogant. Lu Ming, I hope you can pass the treasure sorting convention. Chapter 1687. Lu Ming looked at the Divine Sun and sneered, "Don't worry, I'll kill you after the treasure sorting convention." Ha, how arrogant. Lu Ming, you won't have the chance to fight with senior brother Divine Sun. The treasure sorting convention will be your death date. Luo Shuehan laughed with contempt. Lu Ming smiled faintly and did not say anything else. There was no point in saying anything more. The Divine Sun did not say anything either. He took a step forward and appeared on the celestial sect stand. Then, an old man rose to the sky and stood in the air above the fighting stage, overlooking the whole place. This old man was the judge of the convention. He was from the Peyuan family. The Peyuan family had been eliminated during the treasure determining convention. Every time, the judge of the treasure determining convention was someone from the eliminated sect. That way, it would be fairer and wouldn't be biased towards any side. I, Peyuan Gui, am the judge of this convention. Now, I will announce the rules of the treasure sorting convention. This treasure sorting convention will be different from the past because the rules have been changed. Peyuan Gui's voice echoed throughout the place. This convention will be divided into 2 rounds. A total of 10 sects will participate and each sect will send out 20 people. The first round will be a selection. The 10 sects will enter 10 array worlds and hunt demonic beasts. Some of the demonic beasts will have a wind core in their bodies while others do not. Your goal is to hunt for wind cores and then rank the top 80 based on the number of wind cores you have. Only the top 80 sects will enter the second round. Peyuan Gui explained. Everyone understood immediately. In the first round, only 80 people would be able to advance. The rest would be eliminated. The second round will be the point competition. 80 people will take turns to fight each other. Everyone will have to fight once, regardless of whether they are from the same sect or from different sects. Every victory will earn you 1 point. In the end, the sect with the most points will be the champion of this year's treasure sorting convention. That sect will have the right to control the 2 ancient treasures until the next treasure sorting convention. I will announce the rules of the second round when the second round begins. Po Yuangui continued to speak and gave a rough account of the events of the second round. It's a point competition. Zifeng's eyes moved. This way, whichever sect has the most people in the first round will have an advantage in the second round. Lu Ming said. The more people who entered the second round, the higher the probability of obtaining points. Naturally, the total points of a sect would be higher. Now, I'll open the formation, Po Yuangui said. Then, a powerful aura emanated from his body. With a wave of his hand, Saint power surged. In the sky, 10 doors of light suddenly appeared. There are 10 array worlds here. These 10 array worlds are almost identical, and the difficulty is also the same. Now, each sect will enter a array world to hunt for the wind core. You only have half an hour. Breaking origin returns announced. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. As soon as Po Yuangui finished speaking, the participants from the 10 great sects all rose into the air. Each sect had 20 people. Everyone randomly chose a door and rushed in. Dragon God Valley chose the nearest door, and the 20 of them rushed in. The next moment, they found themselves in a grassland. At first glance, the grassland was boundless. This world was a world created by a formation. It wasn't real. Everything here was fake. Only the wind core was real. Their target was the wind core. Roar. Not far away, a wind wolf stared at them and roared. Beast, check if there's a wind core. A 9th layer martial dominator rushed out and pounced on the wind wolf. The wind wolf howled and dashed forward like a gust of wind, causing the disciple of the Dragon God Valley to miss his target. Where do you think you're going? The disciple felt embarrassed that he missed, so he continued to pounce on the wind wolf. However, Wind Wolf's figure moved like the wind, and his speed was astonishing. For a moment, the disciple was unable to take him down. How fast? Are all the beasts here so fast? Someone's face darkened. If all the beasts here were so fast, it would not be easy to hunt for the wind core. We only have half an hour. Let's move quickly, Zifeng said. It's better for us to team up. That way, we can hunt faster, Lu Ming said. If the beasts here were so fast, a single person would not be able to hunt for the wind core as fast as a team. All right, let's team up. Let's go, Zifeng said. Lu Ming went with Tian Chui and Xuening Xin. Zifeng went with 2 disciples of the Violet Dragon Valley. The others followed suit and flew into the distance in groups of 3 to 5. The array world was extremely spacious, as if there was no end to it. The group dispersed into the array world and disappeared in the blink of an eye. Lu Ming, Tian Chui, and Xuening Xin flew forward at a rapid pace. They had covered a distance of a few thousand li in just a few moments. There are a few beasts below. Xuening Xin glanced downward. Kill. Tian Chui raised his giant hammer and swung it at the beasts. Bang! The giant hammer struck the ground, causing the ground to tremble and dust to fill the air. Whoosh! Whoosh! A few figures dashed out from the dust, which turned out to be the beasts. Their figures were as fast as the wind, allowing them to dodge Tian Chui's attack. They're really fast. Watch me. Tian Chui waved his hand and the giant hammer in his hand flew out like a bolt of lightning. Like a meteorite, it smashed into one of the beasts. The beast was crushed by the huge force and exploded. But at this time, the other demonic beasts had already fled far away. Lu Ming cast the Tempest Steps. His figure flashed and he chased after a demonic beast. Within a few breaths, he caught up with the demonic beast. He threw a punch and the demonic beast disintegrated, turning into energy and dissipating. No wind core. Lu Ming raised his eyebrows. There was no wind core among the beasts. Lu Ming then went to Tian Chui. Tian Chui said with a bitter face, "Ninth junior brother, there is no wind core. Have you found it?" No. Lu Ming shook his head. Po Yuangui said that some beasts do not have wind cores and some do. It seems that the probability of some beasts not being very high. Xuening Xin said. The beasts here are fast, and the probability of them having wind cores is not high. Moreover, we only have half an hour. If this continues, it will be difficult to hunt for enough wind cores, Tian Chui said. It's fine. I have a way. Let's go find the beasts first, Lu Ming said. Then, the three of them continued to fly and look for beasts. There was no lack of beasts on the grassland. After a while, they saw a few beasts. 9 seals of the Divine Gate. Lu Ming used the 9 seals of the Divine Gate. 9 sealing doors appeared and froze the beasts in place. Chapter 1688. Haha, we found the wind core. Tian Chui laughed heartily. After one of the demonic beasts was killed, it dropped a crystal. The crystal was translucent with green energy lingering around it. This was the wind core. This wind core had a special mark. It could be seen at a glance whether it was taken out of this place or not. Let's continue, Lu Ming said. Next, they continued to search for beasts. Lu Ming used the 9 seals of the Divine Gate to seal the beasts, while Tian Chui and Xuening Xin were responsible for killing them. The wind cores were divided equally among the 3. The beasts here were not very strong except for their speed. Tian Chui and Xuening Xin could easily kill them. However, the number of beasts with wind cores was very small. On average, only 1 out of 10 beasts had wind cores. This greatly increased the difficulty of obtaining wind cores. However, Lu Ming and the other 2 worked together very quickly. They did not need to waste any time when encountering beasts. Lu Ming used the seals while Tian Chui and Xuening Xin dealt with the beasts in an instant. 10 minutes later, the 3 of them had already killed hundreds of demonic beasts and obtained 30 wind cores, 10 for each of them. Roar, roar, roar. Roars came from the front. The 3 of them were shocked and continued to move forward. Soon, a large group of beasts appeared in front of them. Those were wind leopards. They were even faster than wind wolves. There were hundreds of wind leopards in this group. They were running on the grassland. So many of them. Haha, we're rich. Tian Chui's eyes lit up and he grinned. Roar, roar. The wind leopards also noticed Lu Ming and the other 2. With a few loud roars, the wind leopards scattered. They were like hundreds of lightning bolts, flying in all directions. There were too many of them. Even if Lu Ming used the 9 seals of the Divine Gate, he could only seal a few of them. Bubble, we're counting on you, Lu Ming whispered. Bubble had already appeared on Lu Ming's shoulder. At this time, it waved its paw, and the space in front of it rippled like water. Then, the wind leopards all stopped in the air, motionless. Kill. Tian Chui and Xuening Xin were very excited and charged at the wind leopards. As for Lu Ming, he also flew up. With a wave of his hand, spear light shot out, killing the wind leopards one by one. The wind leopards froze in midair before exploding. Pieces of sparkling and translucent wind cores appeared in the air. In the blink of an eye, hundreds of wind leopards were all killed by them, and they obtained dozens of wind cores. Ha ha ha, awesome, too awesome. Skyhammer is incomparably excited as he swings his hammer around. Xuening Xin was also smiling. Hunting wind leopards like this was indeed very satisfying. The 2 of them glanced at the bubble on Lu Ming's shoulder and didn't say anything. They naturally wouldn't ask about Lu Ming's secret. Junior brother, let's go hunt a large group of demonic beast. Tian Chui's eyes sparkled. All right. Lu Ming nodded. Immediately, the 3 of them flew into the air and specifically chose large groups of demonic beasts to hunt. Normally, the 3 of them wouldn't stop when they saw 1 or 2 demonic beasts. They would only stop when they saw more than 10 demonic beasts. This grassland didn't lack demonic beasts. Not long after, they encountered a group of demonic beasts. There were more than 100 of them, and their speed was astonishing. If they encountered so many demonic beasts, it would be impossible to kill all of them. They would only be able to kill a portion of them. These demonic beasts were too fast, and they fled in all directions. It was difficult to kill all of them. However, Lu Ming and the others were different. Lu Ming had Bubble, and Bubble used the space-time laws to freeze the demonic beasts, allowing them to slaughter them. Their efficiency greatly increased. Half an hour was too short, and it passed very quickly. Lu Ming and the others were flying when the space trembled. They felt their bodies tighten, and in the next moment, they returned to the place where they had just entered. The other Dragon God Valley disciples also appeared there. Time is up so quickly. I only hunted a few wind cores. Me too. Some of the Dragon God Valley disciples sighed. Those who were unlucky didn't have any wind cores after killing demonic beasts. After half an hour, they only obtained a few wind cores. Senior brother Zifeng, how many wind cores did you get? Someone asked Zifeng. I got 31 wind cores, Zifeng said. He then looked at Lu Ming and said, Junior brother Lu Ming, how's your harvest? Our harvest is okay. Lu Ming nodded and said, Senior brother Zifeng got more than 30 wind cores. It seems that we don't need too many wind cores to enter the top 80. 20 wind cores are enough. Let's distribute them. Distribute. The others looked at each other. Most of them didn't even get 20 wind cores. How were they going to distribute them? Lu Ming, Tian Chue, and Xuening Xin looked at each other. Then, with a thought, a large pile of wind cores appeared in the air. The other Dragon God Valley disciples were stunned. All of them were dumbfounded. There were too many. Lu Ming and the others had a few hundred wind cores in total. That many? Zifeng was also dumbfounded. Lu Ming smiled. The three of them got more than 280 wind cores in total. The three of us will each take 30 wind cores. The rest will be distributed to those with higher cultivation so that more of us can enter the second round. Senior brother Zifeng, you can distribute them, Lu Ming said. Then, he, Tian Chue, and Xuening Xin each took 30 wind cores, leaving more than 190 wind cores. They didn't need many wind cores, as long as they could enter the second round. The most important thing was that more people from the Dragon God Valley could enter the second round. The more people that entered, the higher the chances of getting points in the second round. Even if they got one more point, it could be the deciding factor in the end. This time, Lu Ming must help the Dragon God Valley get first place and get the two ancient treasures in their hands. Only then could Lu Ming get the fragments of the prison-suppressing monument. All right. Zifeng nodded and began to distribute the wind cores. He didn't distribute the wind cores to those with lower cultivation. Instead, he distributed the wind cores to those with higher cultivation. In the end, only 5 people didn't get any wind cores. These 5 people had the lowest cultivation. Including the wind cores that he got, the others each had about 20 wind cores. Based on the number of wind cores that Zifeng got, 20 wind cores should be enough. The 5 people didn't complain. Their cultivation was the lowest, so even if they entered the second round, it would be difficult for them to get any points. All right, let's go out, Zifeng said. Then, the group went to the light door in the sky. In the next moment, they appeared above the fighting stage. At the same time, the other sects also walked out of the light door. Now, take out your wind cores. One by one, I will record the number. The 80 people who get the most wind cores will enter the second round. Returning to Dao. Let's go first. You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories,